let's just let aside the American fans that are pissed off from this news today. Let's just look at this objectively here through the lens of the great history of the world of motorsports and what these names mean to everybody in this great sport that we all love here. When I think of racing, guys, I don't know about you, but the names Visa come to mind. The names like Cash App, names like Stake, those names come to the front of my mind well before. I mean, who is this Andretti guy anyway? Why should we let him in, right? That seems to be the mentality that Stefano Domenicali has, that Formula One has. They're all willing to take these crypto sponsors, as Jackson mentioned in the chat. They're all willing to take these title sponsors such as Rich Energy and names like that have no legitimate financial backing to them whatsoever, but they cleared a few checks that are going to be able to clear, and then they find their way onto a Formula One car. And I mean, that's the kind of name that we welcome into our sport with open arms, because they seem like they have money, and we care about the almighty dollar before we care about our racing heritage and our history. Let me just tell you a few things about who these guys are, these Andretti Global people, for those that might not know. This is the same Andretti Global that provides name recognition in the form of racing royalty, not to mention Formula One's own 1978 World Drivers' Champion, Mario. And keep in mind, again, this is a name trying to come onto the grid in a year where two of Formula One's teams have changed their names to Stake F1 Team Kick Sauber and Visa Cash App RB, whatever that means. This, of course, is the same Andretti Global that is based in America, owned by Americans, not to mention is almost guaranteed to bring in an American driver in a time where F1 is looking to continue to build on the rising popularity with the U.S. audience. This, of course, is the same Andretti Global that has competed and won, by the way, in IndyCar, IMSA, Formula E, Extreme E, and Rallycross. This, of course, is the same Andretti Global that has shown a commitment to being in F1 for over 2.5 years now, organizing their efforts to launch their proposed team shortly after their purchase of Sauber fell through at the 11th hour. This, of course, is the same Andretti Global that has already set up a $200 million headquarters facility in Indiana, which broke ground more than a year ago. This, of course, is the same Andretti Global that plans to operate not just from that 575,000 square foot base in Fishers, but also from Silverstone, Cologne, and Charlotte, allowing the team to have a presence in 4 different locations in 3 different countries. This, of course, is the same Andretti Global that announced last January that they plan to partner with Cadillac, bringing the GM brand into the sport as a long-term power unit supplier. This, of course, is the same Andretti Global whose entry has already received approval from the FIA, and by the way, was the only one of the 4 recent applicants to be able to do so. This, of course, is the same Andretti Global who, as you mentioned, Josh, as recently as 2 days ago, it was revealed in The Athletic that they already have parts in production and they already have a car model in the wind tunnel. It seems to me they're taking this pretty seriously. And for what it's worth, let's talk about Formula One for just one moment. This is the same Formula One that just 8 years ago, in 2016, allowed another American entry in Haas into the sport as an 11th team, despite the fact that there were no guarantees that they would be competitive. In fact, they have only finished higher than P8 in the Constructors' Championship one time. And last year, they finished dead last down in P10. So why is it that Haas was able to come in 2016 and been able to stay on the grid without any indication that the team would be competitive, which apparently is so important to a sport where 21 of the 22 races were won by the same team, where the bottom 4 teams, that's Sauber, Williams, Haas, and AlphaTauri, or whatever the heck they're called now, have combined, you know this, guys? They've combined for 6 podium finishes in the last 7 years. You want to talk about being uncompetitive. Where's the gap between the top teams like Red Bull and the teams at the back of the pack, like those 4 I just mentioned? Apparently, either the rules have since been changed since 2016 to gatekeep the sport from everybody, because, I mean, heck, if these guys can't get in, I don't know how anybody can. Or the other conclusion you could draw is that the Haas name is somehow more valuable to Formula One than their 1978 world champions. I'll just leave it at that.